In today's video, I wanted to show you the Better Homes and Gardens Cookbook from the 1950s that I picked up from an antique store in Kansas. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this content. It really helps me so much. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive into this book. I was so excited when I found it. I thought it was definitely worth the $7. As you can see, this is the 1949 edition. And it just has a wealth of information in here. So many recipes. Even it looks like there's some added pieces right here that the original owner might have put in, because as you can see, the page size is smaller. And I think it's from a Philadelphia cream cheese advertisement, because a long time ago that's what people did. When they were trying to promote their product, they would give out recipes for people to follow and use with that product. So I like how she added that in here. It was just a surprise perk. Here we have a letter from the editor and pointing out several features within this book and these first few pages. And it also has sections for notes throughout every chapter. So this first chapter is nutrition. And it's going to talk about the calories, the protein, the fats, the carbohydrates in different foods, and how to balance that. As you can see, there's quite a chart available here showing you approximate caloric needs, as well as the calorie content in each type of food. No need to look it up on the internet. The next section is called meal planning and meal making. This really helps plan out how much food to make, what foods go together well, and to really balance your dinners, your lunches, your breakfasts, and things like that. One of my favorite parts of this section is that it has, not only like what appetizer, what starchy food, what vegetable you can put together with the main course, but it also has a section on cooking for 2 or 3 people, or as well as up to 100 people. So this is going to be really helpful when you're planning to host people, or if you're just, you and your partner live together, then you can balance it according to your needs. Throughout this book, I did find extra little additions, which I think is so neat, from the original owner, that whoever sold this cookbook didn't remove. The next chapter is special helps, and it's got information on how to properly cut things and measure, and just all of the small steps within the cooking process. So this could also be really helpful for just learning to cook and learning the basics. Chapter 4 is appetizers. So there's quite a variety, and I love the pictures in this book. In fact, I took out a couple of pages from this book and I framed them, of course leaving them perfectly intact, and easily they can be removed and put back in the book, because I'm against destroying things that I can't really be replaced. But they make a beautiful hanging in my kitchen. And then chapter 6 is breads. So it's got several different types of breads, from muffins to loaves of bread to waffles to griddle cakes, donuts, biscuits, etc. And I haven't tried any of these out yet, but I can't wait to especially try the braided bread. I want to try that soon. It also has what they call jiffy breads. Jiffy meaning quick or fast, just like there's jiffy sewing projects, there are jiffy breads, which that can be really handy when you don't have a lot of time. The next section is cakes, cookies, frostings, and fillings. Today I will be making a cake from this section of the book, which I think you're going to enjoy. The only thing I didn't like about this book is that all of the cake recipes are made with shortening, which I don't use shortening, but of course you can just easily replace that with butter. because I think butter is a better choice for myself and for my health. The next section is candy. This will be really fun, I think, around the holiday season to give as a gift. And I look forward to trying some of these recipes. Canning and freezing, there's a section on that, which is really helpful. I did use this section recently to can some tomatoes. And look, another addition. A newspaper clipping. I thought this was really cool. And here it gives you like the timetable for how long each type of dish requires to can. The next one is casseroles and one dish meals. These are really nice, especially when you're in a hurry or you just want to keep it simple. Some of these recipes do use canned soup. I don't know how you feel about that. The rice main dishes also look interesting. I want to try some of those. And then the next one is desserts, chapter 11. This is more than just cookies and cakes. It's got quite a wide variety of desserts to look at and choose from, even including peach specials. And look, here's a whole other section. These little clippings are very fun. I should show them to you sometime because a lot of them are cleaning tips, how to remove stains, and just little household hacks. The next one is eggs and cheese. There's so many things you can do, making like a cheese platter, which are great for parties or other sorts of dishes. Many different kinds of egg dishes. And look at this, chapter 13, leftovers. This is also really fun because you can kind of reinvent what you've already cooked and what you have remaining from the previous meals. Chapter 14 is your meats, poultry, and fish. I want to dive deeper into this, especially with the holidays coming up. It also has a section in here where it shows the different types, the different cuts of meat that I just flipped through. You didn't really get to look at it closely, but that's also something handy to have if you ever want to go to a proper butcher shop. And then we have chapter 13 is the pastries and pies. And they give several different decorating ideas, which is fun. And then salads and salad dressings. A lot of these look really good. I almost featured one of the salads in this section, but I ended up going with the cake because I was preparing it for a party. And then soups and sauces and different summery dishes to choose from. And a vegetable section. Somebody added in a baked beans recipe. And summer vegetables. So some recipes to cook according to the season. Special meals and foreign cookery. So there's a lot of foreign recipes here. European and Central American, South American dishes. And then it has a section on table setting, which is really neat, showing you how to lay out your dishes properly. Also according to the occasion required. And then at the back, it has a section for notes, which the previous owner filled in with different recipes or cleaning advice, which is really neat. And last, we have a general index here. At the very back, as you can see, there's some gardening guide and advice, which is kind of neat. It's like just a little extra portion that the previous owner must have clipped in. As you can see, it has dashes she must have cut across to add into this book. And the very back is an envelope to put recipes and other things in. I love this idea. It's so great because this book was really made so that you can add more to it. I love that idea. Okay, let's move on to making a nutmeg feather cake. Here are all my ingredients I have out. As you can see, I'll give you a close-up of the recipe. I'm not a professional cook. I wasn't perfect by any means in making this recipe, but it was really fun and a great experience, and the flavor was amazing. And I did get several compliments on it. So here's the recipe card. As I said, I don't use shortening, so I just did double the butter instead of shortening. Also, I had to adapt because I didn't have buttermilk, so I just put some lemon in milk to make sort of a soured buttermilk taste. And I did melt the butter a little bit here, which ideally what you're supposed to do is let it soften to room temperature and then cream it together. So that definitely probably had an impact on the overall result. Also, you're supposed to blend the eggs or mix the eggs before adding them, but I just did it all together like I'm showing you here. But it was still a very easy recipe to follow and really delicious and different than your everyday average cake recipe. So now I'm adding in the nutmeg and also baking soda or the salt. Here's the baking soda actually, the baking soda and the baking powder. And now for the milk. And it said to alternate adding the milk and the flour, so that's what I did. I added some milk, then I added some flour, and I added some milk, back and forth until the cake was fully combined. Alright, so I went ahead and baked it. I baked it in 2 different square 9-inch pans instead of round pans, and let's move on to making the frosting. The frosting was quite different than I expected. Broiled coconut frosting, but it was really delicious. So I'll show you how I made that. You start with the melted butter, and you add in cream. Cream always makes everything richer and more flavorful. I love cooking with cream. And I added some vanilla. The recipe called for vanilla. I added a bit more than the original requirement. And some brown sugar. This seemed like a lot of sugar, I have to say. I was concerned about that. But it really did come together well, and I think the broiling made that work out. And then adding the coconut in. Now it called for moist coconut, but I didn't have moist coconut. This is more of a bit of a drier flour-like, but it still worked out fine. I just added in a little more cream to make it come together a bit better. And then I spread some pudding in the middle of 2 layers of cake. And then I put some on the top. So it wasn't an abundance of frosting by any means. So I wasn't able really to put it along the sides. But I don't think it was intended to be a lot of frosting anyway. Because I was a bit concerned about the sweetness level, I did end up sprinkling some coconut flakes, some extra coconut flakes on top just in case, because I thought, wow, this seems really sweet. But like I said, it worked out really well. So I'm just putting the rest of the frosting on this top layer. And I didn't worry about leveling off the tops of my cakes. They had a bit of a rise, but I just left it that way. And again, just adding those little coconut sprinkles on top. And then this is going to go into your broiler to brown the top. And here it is. Lightly browned on top, and it was delicious. Well, thank you so much for watching this segment. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you try to make this recipe yourself. And I will see you soon in the next video, which will be a sewing video. I think you're going to love it. Another 1950s style clothing piece. So thank you so much, and see you next time.